agriculture, we looked at this a few years ago. Of all the cropland in the world, about 12% is under some form of regenerative practices. And you think, okay, and it's been known, these practices have been known for decades. The mind-blowing fact is it's only growing at 1% a year.
I think that's one of the beauties of regenerative agriculture, is that for the farmer or rancher, it is more profitable. So when you work with nature and you work with the soil, your inputs reduce over time and your outputs increase over time. Nature always bats last. I know very scaled up ranches in Australia that are running 5,000 head with 2 full-time equivalents, and their cost of production is 10 cents per pound live weight. That's the best in the world that I've heard.
2 different projects that really focus on providing transition payments. So upfront cost sharing with farmers at a payment per acre for adopting certain regenerative practices. We pair that either with help in integrating then those practices into a business model and helping them figure out how that will pencil out over time, which Kevin talked about, or with agronomic advice to say, here is, if you're going to use a cover crop, here's the one that works best for the crops that you're planting in your geography, your climate, et cetera. Those new practices have to be really tailored to the farm for them to be successful. And so we try to pair that, again, financial support with agronomic advice or with advice on that business model. We have a program that offers a yield guarantee for farmers who agree to cut back on their use of nitrogen fertilizer if their yield comes down. Also that policy and aligning the kinds of incentives that farmers also see to make sure that they are pushing for or making the regenerative choice the default choice. We need government to work hand in hand with us so that crop insurance products can reward the fact that we know regenerative practices make acres more resilient. Can you reflect that in premia? Can you reflect that in loans, for certain commodities and financing terms? So we know that, globally, governments are heavily involved in the agriculture sector. They're creating incentives or subsidies at various points along the chain. How can we look at those critically and say, are those incentives aligning to drive toward the practices we need to see?
Do remember that whilst the majority of what we utilize on the ingredient side is plant-based, there's farmers at the end of those supply chains as well. And often those farmers are in mixed systems. So we don't have a single crop that we utilize, a single natural ingredient that isn't grown in rotation or in amongst other things that farmers rely on for income. But those products have to deliver first and foremost on taste. You've got to want to love to eat it, right? We're talking about food here. This is something we enjoy every day, and we can't forget that, right? It has to sing to your soul when you sit around a table and share it with your friends and family. You've got to want to eat it, right? It's got to nourish not just your body, but your soul in the way in which you think about it.
We have the privilege and responsibility of being the largest restaurant in every city where we operate an IKEA store. So, of course, that generates a lot of waste in our own operations. And then food is precious, but waste is totally unnecessarily, from both an ethical but also a cost perspective. And we also know, just maybe adding another element in the discussion, that when we tackle the cost, we tackle the waste, there is also an impact. We generate savings that then we can reinvest to offer our consumers even lower prices. We started the journey in 2016, so we started as early adopters. In our own operations, we reached the commitment of halving 50% reduction of the food waste in 2021, but then we continue.
It starts with information, informing our customers about what is healthier for them, what is a better choice. And for that, we need we need systems, and we need unified systems. So on health, we need a system of nutritional navigation that customers can recognize and rely on. And the next thing we can do is incentivize customers to keep coming back, keep eating healthier and more sustainable products. And the way we do that is through our loyalty scheme. So we know a lot about how our customers buy, what they like, and what's going to nudge them into more sustainable behaviors. So what we do is focus on incentivizing around fresh and healthy products, for example, and give customers a 10% discount if they continue to kind of add more fresh products into their shop.
The best activation we've done in store, interestingly, is around our Sheba brand, where we have a fantastic coral reef regenerative program. And the activation is about Sheba Hope Reef. And we've got the biggest coral reef restoration project in the world. Wherever we've done that in store, it's captured consumers' hearts and minds, and we sell a whole load more product.
Is that whole post-industrial World War II mindset of let's produce and let's plant fence row to fence row. Let's be honest, that hasn't been good for global health, both from a personal perspective, but also from a soil health perspective. So we have to kind of get away from that mindset and get really bought into the power of regeneration, which is putting biology back into the soil. That goes to the plant, that goes to the animal, and then that comes to us.
So just on the point on kind of what's driving vegans and vegetarians, actually our research suggests that the biggest thing that drives them is animal welfare.
Make a decision in 2022 that all the plant-based foods that we will offer, it will be in the Ingka markets, in our 30 markets, it will be lower or same price than the meat alternatives to give the people the choice. So we see people trying, and we see a percentage, 62% rise in our plain plant-based dishes, the comparable dishes from one year to the other.